Hello, hello. Ayan, narinig ba? Narinig?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you. Sige. So, we'll start in at 1:35 no? Set up ko lang din yung kailangan kong mga handouts. Okay. Hello, hello. Ayan. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, let's start. I will just share no, yung big screen para makita niyo yung answers. Okay. So, kumusta? Kita naman? So, ano bang comment natin? Kumusta naman yung exam? Okay ba? Okay, sige. So let's start for the first question. And so for our multiple choice, so about 30 points, no? yung ating Morse type of questions, and the rest would be yung normal na multiple choice. So again, it's a good practice. Sorry. Good practice na makita nyo or kung paano. Okay, wait lang, sorry. Okay, kala ko nawala. Practice kayo on how to answer more type of questions. Okay, so number 1, kumusta naman yung mga answers nyo for number 1? Okay, so wait lang. Yan na lang natin. I-wait lang natin. So, anyone? Meron ba kayong comment? Pero wala lang sumasagot eh. Okay, I'm gonna assume na naririnig nyo ako. Sige, magka-type tayo, no? Gusto ko lang na, can you hear me? Can you comment, no? Para lang sure tayo na naririnig. Okay, sige, yeah. Thank you. So, for the first question, ayan, so, statement number 1 is incorrect. Nabanggit natin, no, when discussing the prediction of solubility, you look at where it's different. So they're both cation. So hindi yun yung magiging point of difference. Yung titignan natin, no, is yung next is yung anion. So here, chloride is monovalent kasi lang yung charge siya, -1, while oxide is divalent, -2. So nabanggit natin, no, you will have stronger interactions with higher charge, no, kaya you would expect them to be less soluble. So that's why calcium chloride is actually less soluble than calcium chloride. For statement number 2, hopefully, no, you were able to check this one kaagad na this is incorrect. So statement number 2 naman, calcium is +2 kasi group 2A siya, and then oxygen is -2 kasi group 6 naman siya. So the correct formula would be CaO for calcium oxide. Next is for, so kaya yun, no? Statement number 3 lang, yung synonym for calcium oxide would be lime or quicklime. For statement number, for question number 2, statement 1, so dito na reaction ng aluminum metal with oxygen gas. So the product is aluminum oxide. So tama naman na aluminum oxide din tawag din sa product, but the charges of the compounding chemical formula is incorrect. It should be Al2O3, no? Ito dapat yung tamang sagot. Because oxygen would have a charge of +2, -2, and yung aluminum would have a charge of +3. So if you cross multiply them, no, ito yung magiging corresponding charges. So statement 1 is incorrect. Statement number 2, when aluminum metal and oxygen reacts, aluminum acts as the reducing agent. So that statement is correct. So ano yung mga pwede nating ways to assess, no, yung ating question. First is, nabanggit natin, yung oxygen usually acts as an oxidizing agent. O kaya nga, doon ang galing yung pangalan na oxidation because of the role of oxygen. So, pwedeng yun, no? Pwede na yung isang rationale na maisip nyo. Pangalawa, no? If you know the charges, you can compute the charges. Here, aluminum becomes a cation. No? So from aluminum na 0, aluminum metal na 0, nagiging aluminum siya na cation. So magiging cationic siya. So that means nag-lose siya ng nag-lose siya ng electrons. So you can go back now to the Liora. So lose electrons, aluminum metal undergoes oxidation. Hence, it is a reducing agent. Okay? So yun yung mga possible ways for you to arrive at the answer. Next, statement number 3. When aluminum metal and oxygen gas reacts, the oxidation state of oxygen changes from -2 to 0. So this is incorrect because again, ano yung rule natin, no, for determining the oxidation state? If they are in its elemental form, it automatically has an oxidation state of 0. So kung binagtad ko from 0 to -2, that will be correct, no? Pero from -2 to 0, that is incorrect. Okay, so again, pwede pa rin i-assess from -2 to 0, that is oxidation. Diba? Tumaas yung value. So, hindi nag-undergo ng oxidation ng oxygen. Siya nga kasi yung oxidizing agent. So, ayan, yun yung mga different ways niya to make that assessment. So, there you could remove 1 and 3, no? And 2 and 3. So, 2 is the only correct answer. So next is statement question number 3. The reaction between potassium sulfide and hydrochloric acid can be classified as a neutralization reaction. So that answer is yes. Potassium sulfide is considered to be a basic salt, no? Because sulfide is the conjugate base of H2S or hydrogen sulfide gas, which is a weak acid. Okay, so conjugate base, so it's basic. Now this is an acid, a strong acid. So what you will have is a neutralization reaction. So statement 1 is correct. Statement number 2. The reaction between potassium sulfide and hydrochloric acid results in the formation of a black precipitate. So the answer is incorrect because you will form nga, no, in this reaction, there's a discussion natin on neutralization reaction. The product that will be formed is hydrogen sulfide. At yung very unique na property ng hydrogen sulfide is yung kanyang odor. Okay, so wala siyang precipitate na form, yung H2S, hindi siya precipitation reaction. But what you have is a neutralization reaction na merong specific rotten egg odor. So statement number 2 is incorrect. The correct formula for potassium sulfide is K2S3, so that is incorrect. So dapat ano lang, K2S. Okay, so because potassium is charge of +2. Okay, question, okay ba? So that means statement 3 is incorrect. So the only correct answer is statement 1. So for number 3, letter A. Okay, question?
Kung yung sa may brigada po kasi, August 22 po, yun ang contact dito rin. Okay naman, kahit na August 25 lang.
Okay naman. So sige, continuing for statement question number 4. So statement number 1, so this is definitely incorrect. We have discussed that ammonium chloride is an acidic salt. So now statement number 1 is incorrect. Statement number 2, ammonium chloride is used to treat metabolic acidosis. So okay, so ito pala hindi ko pa napalitan. Ano pa yung sagot dito? Wait kasi merong incorrect din sa aking answer. So this should be ammonium chloride is an acidic salt. So hindi ito ang sagot. Okay. Hindi ka pa naman nabibigay yung answer key. So hopefully nakita niyo, no? Ammonium chloride is acidic. So hindi siya pwedeng pag-treat ng acidosis. Pag-treat siya ng alkalosis. Okay, so statement 2 is incorrect. So correct answer is itong number 3. Yung next na question, ammonium chloride forms a yellow crystalline precipitate with potassium hexanitritocobaltate. And that is the correct answer. So potassium hexanitritocobaltate. So that is yung, if you still recall, so ito yung, ang reaction nito with is yung K3, potassium, yung reactant is potassium nitritocobaltate, and O. Ayan, so ito yun. So this one, papalitan mo lang yung potassium with ammonium. And what you will have is a yellow precipitate. Okay? So ito yung nandun sa ating discussion for the test. Okay? So statement number 3. So number 4, letter D ang sagot. So take note yun, acidic salt, hindi siya pwede gamitin for acidosis. Ginagamit siya for alkalosis. The rest, no, yung the rest of the other that we discussed, they are used to adjust the pH for acidosis kasi lahat sila ay basic salt. Okay? Next is for, say, question number 5. When a coordinate covalent bond is formed, the ligand is surrounded by multiple cations. So statement number 1 is incorrect because hindi ganun yung situation. The ligand is actually not surrounded but the metal cation is the one surrounded by the ligand. So different yung situation. Next, statement number 2. In a coordinate covalent bond is formed, the metal acts as the electron pair acceptor, and that is correct. So siya yung positive charge. So wala siyang electron to share. So siya yung electron pair acceptor. When a coordinate covalent bond is formed, the ligand acts as an electron pair donor. That statement is also correct because yung ligand mo yung merong electron pair to share with your cation. Next is, so dito, no, for statement, question number 5, only statements 2 and 3 are correct. So letter C yung tamang sagot. Next is number 6. The neutron has a higher mass than the proton. That is correct. So yun yung highlight natin, no, na mas mataas no, yung mass ng neutron. And for a nucleus or for an atom, heavier elements, di ba, has more neutrons than protons, and that explains bakit meron different isotopes. No? Yung isang element can have different isotopes because the proton number will not change or yung atomic number will not change, but the mass number can change because the amount of neutrons can differ, no, per element or per isotope. So, ayan. Next is statement number 2 naman. In a neutral atom, the number of protons is equal to the number of protons. That is also correct. Next, elements with atomic number greater than 20 will have more protons than neutrons in their nucleus. That is incorrect. So, binaliktad ko yung statement. Those with atomic numbers greater than 20 will have more neutrons. So, maraming neutrons. Again, hindi pwede kasi mas madaming protons or mag-iba yung number of protons because they are specific to the identity of the element. Okay. Next, number 7. The prefix bi can be used as a name for the hydroxide ion. So that statement is correct. Hydroxide pala ay yung sub. Yung bi would be yung hydrogen. Sorry. So the prefix bi can be used as a name for the hydroxide ion. So that's incorrect. It can be used for the name of the H+. Okay? So ito yung ginagamit niya. No? It's used as a name for the H+ ion. The prefix sub naman can be used as a name for the hydroxide of ion. So ayan yan. And the suffix ate can be used as a name for the conjugate base of ic acid. So the suffix ate can be used as a name for the conjugate base of ic acid, and that is also correct. No? So lahat ng ic acid yung pangalan, may mga conjugate base nila ay 8. So sulfuric, sulfate, nitric, nitrate, acetic, acetate, etc. No? So the naming convention, only 2 and 3 of the segment 2 and 3 are correct. Next, the reaction of potassium nitrate and potassium permanganate in an acidic solution. So we're only looking, no, at the results. Wala naman tayong binabalance sa reaction. Number 1, the perceptible result in this reaction is the decolorization of a purple solution. So let's review potassium nitrite, no? Na-discuss natin nitrite and yung salts niya, walang kulay. Potassium, group 1A, definitely walang kulay. So, may kulay lang would be yung permanganate. So, yung kulay ng permanganate would be purple or pink, no? Depending on the concentration and depending on the reference. And dito meron tayong redox reaction. So, dito nabanggit na natin last time, nitrite can act as a reducing agent, while permanganate will always be the oxidizing agent. So, yung nitrite can react with permanganate. So, pag nag-react yung permanganate, magiging colorless siya. No? Kasi magiging positive 2 yung manganate or yung manganese. So, yun yung nakita natin no, sa ating mga reactions. So, next, potassium permanganate is oxidized to Mn2+ in this reaction. So, dito, ang keyword dito is you should replace reduce, no? So, hindi siya reduce. It should be oxidized. So, ito yung statement na nagpamali, no? If you replace oxidize with reduce, the statement will be correct. Kasi hindi naman nga siya oxidized. So, siya ay na-reduced from 7 to 2. Okay? So, yeah. Statement number 2 is also incorrect. Is incorrect. Okay? Statement 1 is correct. Lastly, statement 3, nitrite ion acts as the oxidizing agent. So dito the answer is incorrect because for permanganate, pag nag-undergo siya ng reaction, siya yung always na oxidizing agent. So statement number 3 is incorrect. So statement 1 or yung choice letter B lang yung tamang sagot. Okay? Next, number 9. So dito, no, we discussed statement number 1. Ang naiba is yung number of oxygen. Nabanggit natin, no, the more electronegative atoms are there, mas nagiging stronger yung pool no, doon sa OH group. Kaya mas madaling mapakawalan or ma-let go yung H plus or yung acidic H plus. So for statement number 1, this is correct. So pag mas maraming oxygen, mas maraming electronegative atoms, mas nagiging acidic ang oxyacids. No? Di ba yung mga merong oxygen, oxyacids yung tawag sa kanila. Statement number 2. Statement number 2, we're only comparing binary acids. So for binary acids, at titingnan natin is yung electronegativity. So yung mas electronegative, they produce weaker acids. So that means, di ba, HF nga is a weak acid, then followed by hydrochloric acid with the strongest acid known to sa least electronegative, which is yung hydriodic acid. So for statement number 2, that is incorrect. So if I replace stronger, no, yung word na stronger, with the word weaker, then the statement will be correct. For statement number 3, so ito, yun nga, no, wala dun sa listahan natin. So hopefully you try to remember, no, yung mga binary acids ng halogens, except fluorine, sulfuric, nitric, and yung mga peric acids, no, yun yung mga strong acids. So please, no, try to remember that. Now, question number 10. Statement 1, if mercuric ions undergo reduction, a black precipitate of elemental mercury may be formed. That is correct kasi process talaga yun ng reduction. Nabanggit natin kung dissect niyo yung statement. So, naging positive 2 papuntang 0. So, in that process, that is actually reduction. Kasi from a high number to a lower oxidation number, then that is the classic definition of reduction. So, statement 1 is correct. If permanganate ions undergo reduction, the purple color can be decolorized. That is correct. So, meron ng tanong no, na related to that. So, reduction yung na-identify nga natin for permanganate. So, statement number 2 is also correct. Lastly, if elemental copper undergo reduction, a blue solution is produced. So, that is incorrect. Because, ang blue, no, so tama naman, ang elemental copper ay 0. Elemental copper is 0. Tapos, nabanggit natin, ang copper na nagiging blue, siya pag naging salt siya. Yung kulay blue ay yung copper 2. Okay? So, because of that, hindi reduction ang tawag sa process na ito. Ang process na ito ay oxidation. So, if I replace the word reduction no, with the word oxidation, then my statement correct. Okay? Okay? So, kaya 1 and 2 lang yung correct na statement. Next, number 11. So, we have two ions here, silver chloride and silver iodide. So, dito na ito yung ginagawa natin last time. Ang sabi ko sa inyo, we need to compare no, yung solubility. And TSP can be used for that. Generally, pag mas maliit yung value ng KSP, less soluble no? Or mas insoluble. Hindi siya madaling mag-dissolve or madali siya mag-precipitate kapag mas maliit. So, ang next reminder natin dun is tignan muna natin kung parehas pa sila ng number of ions. So, yung next na scale na dapat meron kayo, alam niyo dapat yung chemical formula. So, silver iodide will be this. Silver chloride will be this. So, 2 ions versus silver iodide na 2 ions din. So that means kung 2 ions sila, we can directly use the KSP to make the computation or to make the comparison. So dito ay negative 10 for silver chloride, iodide negative 17. So clearly, silver iodide ang less soluble. So silver chloride is more soluble than silver iodide. That is correct, no? Kasi nga mas madaling matunaw, mas malaki yung value ng TSP. Number 2, silver chloride is easier to precipitate than silver iodide. That is incorrect. So again, pag mas soluble ka, mas mahirap kang i-precipitate kasi nga mas soluble ka eh. So statement 2 is incorrect. Silver iodide has a solubility of 9.1 times 10 to the negative 9. So dito, it is the square root. Sorry guys, napaikab na ako. No? Ano na kasi, siesta time. Ay ba? Okay ba kayo? Ayan. So for statement number 3, you just need to do the square root. So hopefully, nagawa niyo yun. No? Meron ba? Can I see show of hands or puso? No? Na okay ba? Na master yun na ba yung inyong mga calculator? Wala namang issue with the calculator. So ayan, kung ginawa niyo yung square root of 8.3 times 10 to the negative 17, that is correct. Again, ano yung good way, no? Pag nag-square root ka kasi, it's just dividing it by 2 dividing by 2 yung ito, yung exponent. So again, it's closer to half. So then at least kahit pa paano, no, quick look can tell you na tama. Sakaling you can just try to recompute. Pero malapit na talaga yung negative 9. Okay, kasi kaya nakita nyo, negative 14, kanyari. So, automatic, kahit hindi kayo mag-solve, alam niyo na mali yun. Kanyari, kung negative 2 or negative 3, or basta yun, hindi mo kang kalahati, then you can already say na incorrect din yung answer. Okay, so number 12, under normal laboratory conditions, group 1A cations can undergo complexation reactions. So that is incorrect. So nabanggit natin, yung mga group 1 and 2, hindi sila undergo ng complexation, they do undergo precipitation, and they may have acid-base properties based on the anion, no? Kung sino yung anion na nakabit sa kanila. So, ayan. Pero complexation tsaka redox, hindi pwede mangyari no, for group 1A cations. Statement number 2. So this will be true. Ito, pwede sila. Number 3, pwede ba sila ma-oxidize? So hindi. Okay? Again, maraming mga different ways to assess this. Pangalawa, hindi na sila pwede ma-oxidize. Kasi pag group 1 cation na sila, o cation na sila, yun na yung highest, di ba? Yun na yung highest oxidation number nila. So, yan sila pwede puntahan pa. So, that means statement 3 is correct. So, only statement 2. Then, number 13, the halide salts of group 1 cations are colorless and readily soluble in water. So, that is correct. So, parehas walang kulay yung group 1 and group 2. Tapos, pati halogens, no? Walang kulay yung halides nila. So, the halide salts of group 2 are highly colored and readily soluble in water. Incorrect. No? Incorrect yung number 2. The halide salts of transition elements have different colors and variant solubility in water. And yes, no? Iba-iba sila, no? Hindi sila nagpa-follow ng trend kung sila ay nasa transition metals. Okay? Okay, so can we have a short break lang? Timpla lang ako ng kape saglit. So, 5 minutes. So, ano ka lang. Okay, ayan. So we're back. Thank you for waiting. So number 14, question number 14. So a monovalent cation undergoes disproportionation. So ngayon, meron namin dito mga different terms no, that I want you to hopefully still remember. First, monovalent, so that means positive 1. Positive, no? Or 1. And then cation, so dapat positive 1, no? So positive 1 yung charge siya. And yung next dito is, hopefully you recall what disproportionation means. Disproportionation means that a compound no, undergoes both oxidation and reduction at the same time. No? So siya yung na-oxidize and na-reduce at the same time. So if plus 1, it becomes oxidized. So that means it should have an oxidation state that is 2 or higher. Diba? So kung siya ay na-oxidize, dapat higher siya than 1. So 2 and above na yung dapat na kanyang oxidation state. At siya naman ay nare-reduce, so ang kanyang possible oxidation state ay 0 and below kasi nagre-reduce na siya. So, sagutin natin yung number 1. Statement number 1, disproportionation involves oxidation and reduction of the same cation. So that is correct. So yung definition ng disproportionation, statement number 2. If a monovalent cation undergoes oxidation, its oxidation number can change into +1, +2, or higher. So, ang nagpamali sa statement natin dito is yung pagkakaroon ng +1. If I remove this, no, then the statement is correct. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng maging +1 to +1 ulit siya. Okay, so that kailangan no, from +2 or higher. Then, statement number 3, if a monovalent cation undergoes reduction, it can be converted into its elemental form. That is also true. Because yun nga, no, from positive 1, pwedeng maging 0, pwedeng maging -1, -2, etc. Pero dahil yun yung mga possible, lahat ng possible values, so elemental form or yung 0 is there. So statement number 3 is also correct. So 1 and 3 ang tamang sagot. Next, number 15. Number 15, this is again no, practice of the nomenclature and writing the chemical formula. First, the chemical formula for zinc hydroxide is zinc ZnOH2. So this is correct. You have the correct oxidation state of zinc. So or other volatile metals, no, na +2. We have the correct oxidation charge for the hydroxide ion na -1. So kaya tama yung ating chemical formula. Next, the chemical formula for nickel sulfate. Nickel 2 sulfate is Ni2SO4. So that is incorrect because yung sulfuric acid no, will have 2 hydrogens. So that means sulfate would have a -2 charge. So ang nickel kasi, +2 naman siya. Naka-indicate na sa pangalan na +2 yung nickel 2 sulfate. Okay? So if you do the cross multiplication ng charges, +2 tsaka -2, so dapat NiSO4 lang. So dapat wala yung subscript na 2 after nickel. Okay? So if I wrote it down as this one, no, ito ang tamang chemical formula for nickel 2 sulfate. Okay? Statement number 3, the chemical formula for stannous chloride is SnCl. So again, mali. Stannous and stannic, no? So again, yung suffix na us means na merong higher at merong lower. So us yung lower oxidation number, ik yung higher oxidation number. So dito, tinay natin tandaan. So the correct chemical formula would be SnCl2, okay, for stannous chloride. Okay? So okay pa? Okay pa naman? So next is for number 16. Okay, number 16. Number 16, question, statement number 1. The basic calcium phosphate is a chemical formula of CaHPO4. So, ang tinitest natin again is yung nomenclature. So, dibasic is the removal of 2 hydrogens. So, kung removal of 2 hydrogens, so tama, HPO4 yun. So, HPO4 would be 2 minus, no? Yung charge would be the dibasic phosphate. Agree tayo doon, no? Kasi nawalan siya ng dalawang hydrogen. Okay? So, ayan yung dibasic. So, that means this is actually, yes, no? Dibasic calcium phosphate. Next, yung solubility. So, this one daw versus dibasic calcium phosphate versus ano ba yung tribasic calcium phosphate? So tribasic acid phosphate would be Ca3, CO4. Okay? So ito yung tertiary or yung tribasic phosphate. So dito, sinabi natin before na as the charges, di ba, becomes higher, the interaction becomes greater and they become less soluble in water. So dito, positive 3 yung charge ng phosphate versus dito now, negative 3 no versus yung negative 2. So if you're comparing just the two of them, then the stronger interaction would be dito sa negative 3 yung charge. Hence, we would expect dibasic to have a higher solubility. So statement 2 is correct. Then lastly, the basic calcium phosphate produces a yellow color in the flame test. So that is incorrect. So ngayon, titingnan natin, sino ba yung pwedeng kumulay sa the basic calcium phosphate? So si calcium, no? Wala namang kulay si phosphate. So that means you need to know the color for calcium. And calcium, no, brick red, no, yung kanyang description. So dito, ayan. So mali talaga yung statement 3 to say na yellow. So 1 and 2 yung correct statements. So letter B. Next, number 17. The highest possible oxidation state for group 6 elements is 8. So that is incorrect. Kasi nga, kung 6 siya, ito niya 6 valence electrons. So yung kaya lang yung ipamigay is 6 electrons. Okay? So that means the highest possible oxidation state would be 6 for statement number 2. The highest possible oxidation state for the group 2 elements is 2. So that is correct. So ito na yung highest, that's 2. Okay, or 2 na not indicating in sign. So we will assume na it's positive. So 2 yung highest for group 2A because it can lose up to 2 electrons. Number 3, the lowest possible oxidation state. So yung lowest possible oxidation state for group 7 elements is -1. And that is also true. Kasi dahil 7 na sila, they only need to accept 1 more electron. So if you accept 1 more electron, -1 ka na. So number 17 would be 2 and 3. Okay? Next. So, okay pa? Okay pa naman? Okay pa? So, lipat tayo ng pwesto. Okay, next. So, off ko lang muna yung video. Next is number 18. So, in number 18, number 1, in inorganic compounds. So, again, no, iba yung context kasi ng meta for organic compounds. In inorganic compounds, the prefix meta is used to indicate the loss of intermolecular water. So ito, that is incorrect because meta is for intra. Okay, so yung within the chemical structure or within the molecule itself. So intra dapat yan. So if I replace the inter with intra, the statement will be correct. So for now, it is wrong. Next, statement number 2, orthophosphoric acid is a chemical formula of H3PO4, so that is correct. Okay. So next, the phosphorus atom in pyrophosphoric acid has an oxidation state of +6. Parang there should be, okay, so mali yung kulay natin. So number 3, the phosphorus atom in pyrophosphoric acid should have an oxidation state of +6. So dapat correct din to. Okay, so reviewin natin, no? So again, paano ba natin i-visualize? For pyrophosphoric acid, so imagine natin we have H3PO4 times 2, no? Dalawang H3PO4. So times 2. So this one would have a chemical formula of H6P2O8. Then we subtract H2O. So again, without memorizing, no, you will be sure that the oxidation, the chemical formula for pyrophosphoric acid would be H4O7. So it's a chemical formula for pyrophosphoric acid. Now, next is kailangan natin computein, no, yung oxidation state. So, ayusin ko lang yung mga para ma-sure tayo. So, yung hydrogen would be +4. So, that's for the 4 hydrogens. That's +4. Plus, for P2. So we have P2, and that's the unknown, no? And then we have negative 14 because we have 7 oxygens. So dito, transpose is equal to 0, no? Kasi yun yung magiging sum nila. Again, the sum of the individual oxidation numbers or oxidation states should be 0, no, in a neutral molecule. So here, we can transpose yung 14 to the other side. So P2 will be equal to P2 will be equal to 14, no? Nag-change yung sign. Plus negative 4 or minus 4. Tama, di ba? So, tinranspose natin yung positive, do? So, magiging negative siya or yan, minus 4. So, that means P2 is equal to 10. Is equal to 10. And then, dahil may dalawang P, you have to divide by 2. So, P would be equal to 5. Okay? So, yun yung sagot natin. P would be equal to 5. So with that information, then that means statement number 3 is incorrect. So the correct answer would be letter B, 2 only. Okay? Questions? One way, no, na pwede natin tignan, hindi ka na nga kailangan dumaan dito eh. Okay? So because ang meta at ang pyroforms, dahil tubig lang natanggal, they would have the same oxidation state. Okay, so they would have the same oxidation state. So dito, pwede mo actually gamitin basehan yung phosphoric acid. So if you compute the oxidation state of phosphorus in phosphoric acid, so you will also get positive 5. Okay? Question? Okay pa naman? Sige. So now, let's go to the next one. So for statement number 1, sodium acetate is used to treat metabolic alkalosis. So here, the answer is, again, acetate would be a base. So if it's a base, it is used for acidosis. Okay? So, ayan. So, statement number 1 is incorrect. So, next is yung statement number 2. For statement number 2, sodium acetate is used mainly to, dapat wala pa ito, is used mainly as sodium ion replacement. So that statement is incorrect because no, nabanggit natin, kung tinignan ninyo, yung mga ginagamit for sodium replacement are those that only contain ions, no, yung walang alkalinity or acidity. So those that are neutral salts, chloride, sodium chloride, ayan, so yun yung mga ginagamit. So hindi ginagamit ng sodium acetate for solely as sodium ion replacement, but for pH adjustment. So ayan. So statement number 2 is correct. And then, ayan, so kapit tayo. And then lastly, for statement number 3, so ito yung diniscuss natin, sodium acetate and ferric chloride will form a red color. So ito yung complex ng ferric acetate. So this is red, but that red complex can be easily destroyed by acids. So which differentiates it from the ferric thiocyanate complex. So statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 2 is incorrect, and only statement 3 is correct. So 19, be letter D. Next. Ito naman, review ulit ng acids, acidity. So dito, yung kaninang ni-reword lang natin sort of na yung question. For binary acids, HY, the more electronegative the Y, the stronger is the acid. So that is incorrect. Kasi nga, we can see or we saw that hydrofluoric acid is the weakest acid of the halogens, even though fluorine is the most electronegative element. So number 1 is correct. For oxy acids, the more electronegative Y is, the stronger the acid form. So that is correct. Okay, kung mas electronegative, mas maraming nakakabit, you would expect it to be more acidic. Okay? And then lastly, iodic acid is stronger than iodose. So ito, repeat ng nomenclature. So ig would indicate na mas mataas ang oxidation state kasi mas maraming oxygen. So statement number 3 would also be correct. So statement 2 and 3 would be the choice here. Okay? Kumusta pa? Kumusta pa naman? Okay, pwede ba kayo, mag-react naman tayo dyan. Kung kayo ay okay pa. Okay, sige. So, next is for 21. So, ito, paulit-ulit natin tinatry i-analyze is yung electronegativity and size. So, mas maliit, mas electronegative. No? Mas na-attract mo yung electrons kung maliit lang yung size mo. Kasi, pwedeng mas lumapit sila no, pag mas maliit and na-attract ng nucleus mo dahil mas maliit ka nga. So, for statement number 1, that is correct. The higher the electronegativity, the lower the size. So if you look at the periodic table, the smallest ones are on the right side, and the most electronegative ones are also on the right side. So statement number 1 is correct. Statement number 2, so electronegativity is higher on the left side. So hindi, no? Right side yung mas mataas. So left side, yun yung mas mababa, yung electronegativity kasi ngayon nasa left. Ito actually yung mga electropositive na yung mga cations mo. So statement 2 is incorrect. And then 3, ito yung important trivia, no? And important to note, no? Because it explains a lot. So fluorine is the most electronegative element. So number 3 is also correct. Okay, next sa mga waters naman. Number 1. Sterile purified water can be used for parenteral preparations. No. Kahit na sterile siya, purified water pa rin yung classification niya. It can only be used for non-parenteral preparations. So statement number 1 is incorrect. Sterile water for injection can be used for parenteral. That is correct. While bacteriostatic water for injection can be used to prepare parenteral solutions. That is also correct. Difference lang, sterile water, one use up to 1 liter, while bacteriostatic, multiple use up to 30 ml, and merong bacteriostatic agent na kasama. Next, sterile water for injection have a maximum allowable volume of 1 liter. That is incorrect. Water for irrigation ay walang limit, no? Again, no, ang mahalaga nga for water of irrigation is panghugas. So wala talagang limit no on how much you can have as long as you can carry it and use it for irrigation. Like, walang set na limits na binigay sa USP. Yung sterile water for injection has not a minimum but a maximum. Sabi mo kasi minimum allowable volume. So, yun yung pinakamababa na dapat na meron ka. Pero hindi. You have a maximum volume, which is 1 liter. Then lastly, bacteriostatic water for injection can be packed into multi-dose containers. That is correct. So, doon talaga siya nilalagay. So, only statement 3 is correct. So, that's all for 23. Next, hydrochloric acid is produced from the reaction of sodium chloride and sulfuric acid. That is true. Now, depending on the temperature, no, if just 1H plus ni sulfuric acid nag-react, you will produce pan acid. If 2H plus, no, because naglagay ka ng init, no, nagbigay ka ng heat or increased temperature, magre-react na yung dalawang hydrogens ni sulfuric acid. So you will form not Quaker acid, no? So anong acid yung tawag doon? Roaster acid, no? So ito na yung merong mas elevated kasi yung temperature kasama ginawa, no? Kaya minsan naging slightly yellow yung muriatic acid, which is how you prepare your roaster acid. So here, statements 1 and 2 yung correct. Number 25, ammonia is also known as spirit of vitriol. That is incorrect. So yung vitriol or oil of vitriol is reserved for sulfuric acid. So that's why you have salts na merong pangalan no, na blank vitriol. So yellow vitriol, blue vitriol. So blue vitriol would be your cupric sulfate. So yung idea is yung vitriol refers to the sulfate no, ng sulfuric acid. So parang hindi niyo malala. So again, spirit kasi may volatility pa rin siya. So for ammonia, ito yung hartshorn, and then yung stronger ammonia water din ang pangalan kasi niya. Pero yan, yun yung unique sa kanya. Next is number 3. Acetic acid is known as spirit of vinegar, so that is incorrect. So wala naman tinatawag na spirit of vinegar. Pero hydrochloric acid ay spirit of salt. Kasi nga, gawa siya from sea salt na nalagyan ng sulfuric acid. So yun yung way ng pag-produce niya. Kaya yung pangalan niya. Next, number 26. Silver nitrate will form a white precipitate. That is incorrect. Yes, it will form a precipitate phosphoric acid, but that precipitate is yellow, yung silver phosphate. This is also one of the identification tests for the phosphate, kaya very unique yung yellow color niya. Next, silver nitrate will form a white precipitate with hydrochloric acid. That is correct. So white ang silver chloride. While for the last question, will it form a yellow precipitate with hydrochloric acid? That is correct because silver iodide is color yellow. Okay? So kaya 2 and 3 ang tamang sagot. Okay pa kayo? Okay pa. So next is yung number 27. So for number 27, only number 3 is correct. So actually, yung sal soda, washing soda, and soda crystals are all synonymous to the decahydrate salt. Okay? So, ayun yung siya lang. Siya lang yung merong extensive na list of names. Okay? So, ayan. Yun lang naman yung kailangan nating tandaan for this. Na walang name yung iba. Yung iba kasi mas predictable yung names. So, nilalatin lang yung pangalan niya. So, kung meron isang water, so para may monosodium doon sa pangalan. Or monohydrogen or hydrate doon sa pangalan. To indicate yung gamit ng tubig. So, sige. Number 28. So, number 28, tignan natin ano ba yung pinakagamit ni parathyroid gland or parathyroid hormone. So, number 1, yes, tama yan. Main purpose ng parathyroid hormone ay padamihin yung plasma concentration of calcium. So, paano niya pinapataas yun? So, pinapataas niya because sasabihin niya kay bone, dissolve phosphate. Dissolve the bone, So, para magkaroon ng calcium and phosphate. Now, afterwards, sasabihin din niya, urines, please reabsorb calcium, but please discard phosphate. So, yung calcium yung reabsorb, yung phosphate yung itatapon para hindi na nga sila bumalik sa buto. Okay, so yun yung main goal ng parathyroid gland or parathyroid hormone. So next is yung aldosterone. So tama din, ang main purpose ng aldosterone is to increase the renal absorption of sodium. So sodium, i-absorb, yun yung main goal ni aldosterone. Now, paano ginagawa ni aldosterone? Ginagawa ni aldosterone by having an antiport, So baliktaran para makapasok ulit si hydrogen or si sodium, kailangan magkaroon kapalit. At ang kapalit nun ay yung potassium. Kaya nga, di ba, aldosterone, hypoaldosteronism or pag masyadong daming aldosterone, one of the side effects is magkakaroon ka ng hypokalemia. Okay? Kasi nga, overactive yung aldosterone mo. Next, the main purpose of the antidiuretic hormone is to increase the renal excretion. So that is incorrect. Hindi renal excretion ang gusto niya. Diba? Renal retention. Ayaw niya nga maglabas ng tubig. Antidiuretic na siya. So, ang goal ng EDH is to decrease. Pababain yung iniihi mo. That means only segment 1 and 2 are correct. So, number 28, letter C. Next is, again, so for the pH, metabolic, again, so muna, acid, metabolic ko siya or respiratory. Pag metabolic, yung ions, yung nagbabago. So pag acidosis na metabolic, so masyadong acidic, so that means masyadong kaunti, yung inyong bicarbonate. Pag sabi ko nga, so pag acidosis, no? So, masyadong mababa yung bicarbonate mo. Pag alkalosis, masyadong marami yung bicarbonate. So, madami bicarbonate sa base, so it will lead to alkalosis. Pero pag kaunti, no, it will lead to acidosis. Number 2, in respiratory alkalosis, is due to excess carbonic acid in the lungs. So, carbonate or carbon dioxide is acidic. So, kung marami siya, hindi siya magiging acidic. Magiging basic or magkakaroon ng respiratory acidosis. Next, in respiratory alkalosis. So, alkalosis, again, balikan natin. Alkalosis, madami bang carbon dioxide o onti yung carbon dioxide? Because hyperventilation will only happen if you have high amounts of carbon dioxide. So, you have alkalosis. So, ibig sabihin, in your lungs, kaunti lang yung carbon dioxide mo. So, that means hindi ka mag-hyperventilate, diba? Kasi nga, ayaw mong mawala yung carbon dioxide. So, kailangan mo ng carbon dioxide. So, for alkalosis, you slow down your breathing. No? Hindi ka nag-hyperventilate. Mas mabagal yung paghinga mo. Okay? So, here, the only correct answer is letter A, or number 1. Next is number 31. Potassium permanganate acts as the reducing agent when it reacts with oxalic acid. So that is incorrect. Nabanggit na natin, no? Pag meron ka VS na oxidizing agent, meron siyang magiging kapartner na reducing agent naman. So dito, in our case, oxidizing agent yung permanganate, reducing agent sa oxalic acid, kapartner niya. Next, oxalic acid is converted to carbon monoxide when reacted with potassium permanganate. That is true. That is correct. Alin ang product ng oxalic acid. The oxidation state of manganese in permanganate changes from 7 to 2 when reacted. So that is also correct. So only 2 and 3 are correct in this case. Okay, next is wait, nawala ba? Wait na. Okay, pero nawala. Sa ating next question. Next question, statement number 1. So dito pati na tayo sa mga antimicrobial agents. So ang gusto natin i-highlight for topical agents, so to ease yung inyong pagme-memorize, para maging topical agent siya, no, kailangan mo siyang i-dilute because most of the concentrated ones would not be very safe dun sa skin, no, upon topical administration. So kaya gusto mo is diluted siya. So for number 1, hypochlorite solution has a higher concentration than Lavarax solution. So that statement is incorrect kasi Lavarax nga yung mas concentrated, no? So that is incorrect. So again, ano din yung reminder, ano ang Lavarax solution? So ito yung hypochlorite, no, na gumagamit ng phosphate for buffering. Then we have sodium hypochlorite solution is more oxalated than sodium hypochlorite topical solution. So that is correct. So the fact na topical na yung isa, so that becomes correct. Then for modified Dawkins, and indicate doon, bicarbonate yung ginagamit for buffering. If you have bicarbonate. Hello? Sorry. Wala. Hello? Okay ba? Okay, sorry. Number 33. For statement number 1, so ito, no, kailangan natin tandaan yung mga different na polymers na ginagamit para sa anti-flatulence, no, para pang break up ng bubbles or prevent ng bubbles para ma-prevent yung GERD or yung flatulence, yung pag-burp. So first is attapulgite. So attapulgite is not hydrated aluminum silicate. So this would be your kaolin. So that would be wrong. So magnesium, no, yung attapulgite. Yung simethicone, ayan, ito yung silica. Okay? So yung aluminum sucrose or a sulfate would be sucralfate, no? While simethicone would be your silicone base, no, na um, uh, anti-flatulence agent. While your alginic acid is correct, na isa siyang polysaccharide galing sa brown seaweed. So for here, statement number 3 lang yung tama. Okay. Next, number 34. So, reviewin natin. When solutions of strong solution are placed in water, their pH level will be the same. So for statement number 1, this is correct. So pag naglagay ka ng mga strong acids like hydrochloric acid and nitric acid, pag nilagay mo sila sa tubig, if they have the same concentration, they will have the same pH. Okay? So yun yung isang property ng mga strong acids. Kaya hindi mo talaga kailangang i-compute yung Ka. Basta alam mo na strong acid siya, mapa-hydrochloric man siya, nitric acid. So, pare-parehas yung concentration nila. Kasi lahat sila ay completely ionized. Statement number 2. The autoionization constant of water is equal to negative 12. So dito, no, yung exponent ay negative 12. So ito yung nagpamalidad sa statement. It should be negative 50. Excuse me. The hydronium ion concentration of a strong acid can be computed by using the formula square root of Ka times the square root of acid or the square root of So, ngayon, mali na kasi ito dito pa lang. Because the concentration of a strong acid is not computed using the Ka. So, hindi yun yung ano. If I replace the word with the weak acid, so then the statement will be correct. Okay? So, dapat dun pa lang, no? Hindi na kayo aabot. Dapat sa dulo ng statement. So, hinabaan lang natin para mukhang totoo. Pero incorrect yung statement number 3. So, because this is for weak acids. So, that means only statement number 1 is correct. And that is letter A. Next, which of the following complex salts cannot be used for supplementation? So, yung binanggit natin doon, no? Kailangan natin, so ito hindi siya explicitly nakalagay dun sa handout. Pero diniscuss natin na for supplementation, gusto mo, soluble siya. Kasi nga, no, papunta siya dun sa, kailangan siya ma-absorb. So, kailangan soluble siya. Nabanggit natin doon na cupric oxide lang yung insoluble. So, that means siya yung least likely to be used or least usable as the salt for supplementation. So 35, letter B yung sagot natin. So a proton to neutron ratio of 1:1 is observed until which element? So element 20 or calcium. Again, nandun naman yung periodic table nyo sa baba. Pag binilang nyo, calcium 20 magiging answer. Next, which element will have a configuration given as this one? So dito, kailangan nyo tignan, no, yung valence electron. So clearly, you have a transition element kasi meron ka ng d orbital. Ang next nyo kasi gagawin, pwede nyo i-add. I-add nyo lang yung number. So 2 plus 2, that's 4 plus 6, that's 10, plus 2, 12, plus 6, 18, plus 2, 20, and then plus 8, 28. So if you look at that element 28, tama ba ako ng add? That is the correct answer on nickel. Kasi the number of protons and electrons will be equal to the element, to a neutral atom. Okay? Questions? Okay, next. Complete the statement. So dito, the answer is poly-exclusion principle. So is sinasabing unique or exclusive. No? Ako yun yung hint ko. Kasi unique or exclusive siya. So that's Pauli's exclusion principle. Of Bao building up, Hans rule is yung pag-pair. No? Single-single muna bago ka mag-start mag-pair. And then lastly, invento lang yung Coriolis effect. Okay? So, nag-invent tayo na ano. Parang scientific sounding term na common. And then, ayan, so 39 pala to. So, 39. So what is the correct name for this compound? Okay. So hindi siya phosphate. So hopefully napansin niyo na hindi siya phosphate. For phosphorus, diba yung ano natin, you have phosphoric acid. Tapos, yung diretso na agad meron ng tawag dito, phosphoric, inisip ko yung pangalan na next, phosphorus, tapos hypophosphorus, no? So, yun yung naming convention niya. So, that means, yun yung flow, H3PO4, tapos phosphorus, tapos na H3PO3, and then you have your lower PO2. So dalawa na. So dalawa lang yung oxygen. No? Tapos isang phosphorus. So that's your hypophosphite or hypophosphorus. So mali yung letter A, mali na rin yung letter B. So letter D ay mali din. So hopefully no, natandaan niyo. So the answer is letter C, hypophosphite. So what is the oxidation state of phosphorus in number 20? So if you compute for phosphorus, so this would be sodium would be 1. Tapos ano yun? Hydrogen would be plus 2. Dalawang hydrogen plus yung phosphate na isa plus negative 16. Dalawang oxygen. So if you look at this, no? 16 tuloy, 4. So if you look at this, the oxidation state of phosphorus would be positive, positive 1. So pag transpose natin sa kabilang side, may positive 4, ito naman magiging negative 2 tsaka negative 1. So positive 1 yung magiging sagot. Okay? So sige, wait lang ha. Break lang tayo saglit. Okay, so hopefully nasolve niyo yung tamang sagot. So the answer there is letter B. Okay, so tapos for 41, ayan, so gawin ko na. So for 41, what is the perceptible result observed when the compound number 40 reacts with mercury chloride? So yung bakit nawala yung question? Okay, so ito nga, compound number, 39 pala. So compound number 39, so yung hypophosphite, nag-react with mercury chloride. So dito, no, yung ang gusto kong tandaan natin, no, you have mercuric ion. So ang nabanggit natin last time, no, madalas siyang mag-undergo ng redox reaction. Pangalawa, kung tama din naalala niyo, hypophosphite was one of our example in the reducing agents. So if it's a reducing agent, nire-reduce niya yung ka-react niya. So yung mercury chloride, it will undergo reduction. So from mercury 2, magiging mercury 1, and then mercury 0. So dito, nabanggit natin, no? Ano ba yung mga possible? So letter D, hindi talaga siya pwede. Walang effervescence, no? Effervescence is reserved if you have carbon dioxide. Letter C is also incorrect. So walang scarlet lead precipitate, no? Unless ito yung for mercury, naalala niyo, ito yung mercuric iodide. So letter A, tingnan natin, merong initial white precipitate pero nagdi-dissolve daw. That is incorrect kasi wala naman nangyayaring ganun for mercury. So this one no, happens for complexation reaction at hindi naman nagpo-form ng complexation reaction with phosphate. So dito, mercury 2 magiging mercury 1, and then it will have a white precipitate na mercurous chloride. And then finally, it will turn black, magiging elemental mercury. Okay? So yun yung tamang sagot. Number 42. What is the white precipitate described in 41? So, yeah, take note lang. That will be observed at the start of the reaction. So, ayan. So, ang tamang sagot dito would be calomel. Ito yung mercurous chloride. So, bone ash would be your phosphate, no? Calcium phosphate. More salt would be your ferrous ammonium sulfate. Tapos, yung saltpeter would be your potassium nitrate. No? So, ayan. So dito naman, what is the correct chemical formula for magnesium hydroxide? So hopefully you got the correct answer, MgOH2. For number 44, if magnesium hydroxide is soluble product constant, sorry no, na ano ata, ang tanong dito ay solubility. What is a solubility? Sorry. Sagot niyo ba? Na anuhan niyo ba to? Nabura ata. What is its solubility? Okay. So, okay ba? Nasagot niyo ba ito? Or alam niyo ba kung anong gagawin? Okay, okay naman. Dahil hindi pala nakaplete yung tanong. So, for number 44, it would be dahil dito, no, connected siya. So, kung tama yung sagot niyo sa letter B or yung number 43, alam niyo na may 3 ions. So, kung meron siyang 3 ions, kailangan yung i-divide by 4 and then get the cube root. Okay? So that means 5.61 times 10 to the negative 12 divided by 4 and then get the cube root. So magiging sagot niya ay letter A. So, ayun. So ganun din, usually pag cube root nga, kung ang square root, parang dinidivide niya by 2 yung exponent. Cube root, if you have an exponent, parang mo lang din siyang dinidivide by 3. Parang to. So, ayan. Kaya negative 4 yung possible answer. So, kunyari, yung negative 13, hindi na siya pwede maging answer for this one. Okay? So, ayan. Number 45. If the solubility of magnesium hydroxide, is increased if additional hydroxide ion is added. So for statement number 1, that is incorrect. Hindi nag-i-increase yung solubility, nagdi-decrease nga yung solubility pag nag-add tayo ng extra hydroxide. So statement number 2, solubility of magnesium hydroxide is increased if additional hydronium ion is added. That is correct because hydroxide is basic. So mag-add ka ng acid, hydronium ion, it will become more soluble. Then lastly, magnesium hydroxide produces a purple color. So that is incorrect. Walang kulay sa flame test ng magnesium ion. Next, for number 46. Ano yung concentration ng diluted hydrochloric acid? So dito, kailangan mapandaan dito. No? So hopefully, you are familiar with that. So the answer is this one. 10 grams per 100 ml. So what is the concentration of diluted hydrochloric acid in molarity? So dito yung ating trick question. So because number 1, no, dapat muna tama yung sagot mo dito. Kung tama yung sagot mo dito, kailangan mo i-convert, no? So again, ang solubility, ang molarity ay moles per liter. So that means meron kang 10 grams. So 10 grams divided by the molecular weight. So ang molecular weight ng hydrochloric acid, ito yung kailangan mo. So if you compute for this, no, yung magiging sagot niya dito would be 35. So di ba tinasabi ko, tandaan ninyo, kung tama to, 35 dapat yung magiging sagot niya dito.
Mahirap mag-grab sa airport.
So 35 yung magiging sagot niya dito. And then afterwards, i-divide niyo yung whole thing with 100 ml. So if you convert that into liters, that is 0.1. Okay, so 10 divided by 35 divided by 0.1, the answer you will get is 2.9. Okay. Okay, tapos for number 48, so what would be the pH? So if na-compute mo na ng 2.9, get the pH, so get the negative log of that, makukuha nyo ay ang value na less than 1. Okay? So hopefully, no, napindot nyo ng tama sa calculator nyo yan. Okay. So dito, ito yung pinapractice natin, no, na you can use the atomic number. So kasi dito nga, no, sige, scroll down ko lang sa periodic table natin. Pwede mong malalaman kaagad. So ito yung chlorine, HCl17 plus 17 ulit kasi may neutrons plus 1 kasi hydrogen. So kaya 35 yung ginamit natin. Okay, so ayan. Tapos 49 to 50, what is the main product for Leblanc process? So that's sodium carbonate. So ito nga yung napiprepare ng sodium carbonate. If you recall, dalawa yung process, no? Solvate at Leblanc. Sa Leblanc process, you have sodium chloride, ano nga ba yan? Production of Leblanc, naalala ko tuloy, you have your sulfuric acid and tama, sodium chloride, and then yung product mo, no, i-react mo with carbonates, no, to produce your sodium carbonate for the Leblanc process. For the Solvay process, yung ammonia plus bicarbonate, yung ammonium bicarbonate yung ginagamit mo. So ayan. So ito, sodium chloride, sulfuric acid, kaya meron kang nagiging product na hydrochloric acid. Tapos yung side product, yung product mo na sulfate, na yung sodium sulfate na product mo, yung react mo with calcium carbonate to produce your sodium carbonate. Tapos, which of the following products will not form an insoluble? Not form insoluble. So that's your manganese dioxide. So ito, yes, ito, di ko talaga alam yung reaction niya, no? Pero ito alam natin. Kasi ito, sabi natin, silver, we have a white precipitate. Lead, we precipitate din. And yung mercurous will form yung calomel, which is also a white precipitate. So, ayan. Sa 52, which is not a possible oxidation number for group 5. So, group 5, pwede siya maging negative 3 kasi magbibigay siya ng 3 electrons. Tatanggap siya ng 3 electrons. So, from 5 to 8, no? Kasi tumanggap siya ng 3 electrons. Pwedeng positive 3 kasi pwede siya magbigay ng 3 electrons. Pwede maging positive 5 kasi pwede siya magbigay ng 5 electrons. Hindi pwede maging positive 7 kasi 5 electrons lang yung kaya niyang ibigay. Okay, so 52 would be 7. What is the highest oxidation number for chromium? Again, ano dito, sana ginamit nyo yung, kung natatandaan nyo yan, okay, kung tinatandaan nyo. Pero kung hindi yung tinandaan, again, pwedeng gamitin ang periodic table. Okay, so chromium is here. So if you count, no, yung kanyang possession, number of valence electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 valence electrons, 6 yung kaya niyang ibigay. So positive 6 yung highest possible oxidation state. Okay? So ayan. Again, no, yun yung para magamit natin yung information sa ating periodic table. So next is, what is the lowest oxidation state for halogens? Negative 1. Kasi 7 sila, so isa lang yung pwede na tanggapin. So yun na yung highest. An ionic compound said to be deliquescent. So if it absorbs water, ang efflorescent, yung nag-loose, at yung hygroscopic is also nag-absorb ng water. Pero deliquescent is yung special property na hygroscopic in such a way na naliliquify na siya. Okay? 56, hydrogen sulfide is your sulfur waters. Dito naman, again, no, bicarbonate lang siya. So yung sabi ko, di ba? Wala siyang ibang laman kundi carbonate, wala siyang salt. So carbonated water. So ito may bicarbonate siya pero may iba siyang laman na salt. So alkaline water siya. Okay? Kasi merong yung alkalinity nito yung tinitake note natin ng bicarbonate. Kasi ang magnesium sulfate, neutral. Walang pH ang both magnesium and sulfate. Pati din ang sodium sulfate. Okay. 59, ito kailangan tandaan. Acetic would be A. Very similar din siya sa concentration ng hydrochloric acid, 36 to 37 din. Nitric acid would be letter C. 95 to 98 would be sulfuric acid, and 99 to 100.5 would be glacial acetic acid. Next. So dito, nitric, sulfuric, and ferrous sulfate. So sinabi natin no, yung ferrous at nitric will form the ferrous nitrogen complex, which is a brown ring or a brown complex. Okay, so ito lang yung pinakamalapit. So next, which sulfate is soluble in water? So binanggit natin no, in terms of the trending, no, yung dito sa dalawa ng group 2A, tsaka itong tatlo, kasi itong tatlong group 2A, pinaka-soluble would be yung calcium, yung pinakamaliit, no? While yung lead, alam natin na nag-form talaga siya ng white precipitate. Ito talaga yung official test no, na nasa USP. So kaya calcium sulfate yung sagot natin dito. Number 65, what is the color of the product? So ito yung mercuroamide iodide. So Nestor's reagent, diba, is yung tetraiodomercurate. Yellow to brown, yung may ano natin, diba? Yung Hg, NH2. Mercury amido iodide. Ito yung yellow to brown precipitate na makikita natin. This is another official test no, for, oops, wait lang. 56 to 58 daw. So, okay, ulitin natin. 56 to 58. Okay, 56 to 58. So, number 1, hydrogen sulfide. So, sulfur waters, letter D. So, dito naman, so letter C kasi wala talagang chalybeate, no? Kasi chalybeate would be containing iron. So, wala naman dito. So, ayan. Ang pagpipilian mo na lang is alkaline at carbonated waters. So, dito, titignan nito, carbonated siya. So, merong carbon, pero wala siyang ibang salts. So, kung wala siyang ibang salts, that would be your carbonated waters lang siya. Pero dito may carbonate siya, may bicarbonate siya, pero meron siyang ibang kasamang salts. Pag ganun, you have what you will have would be an alkaline water. Okay, so alkaline siya because bicarbonate is alkaline, pero the rest of the components are neutral. Okay, so kaya ayan, 56 would be alkaline waters. Okay? Okay ba? Okay ba? Thank you for asking. Okay. Sige. Next is, ayan, balik tayo sa 66 to 69. So, chili saltpeter would be your potassium nitrate. Ayan. So, potassium ulit, sodium nitrate. Your caustic soda would be letter C, sodium hydroxide. Your spirit of salt would be hydrochloric acid, letter B. And lastly, your slaked lime would be calcium oxide. If you slaked it, no, or undergo the process of slaking, wherein you add water, it will become calcium hydroxide. So number 70, yellow colors sa flame test, you have sodium. So barium would be green, calcium would be brick red. Yung copper na in some references, green din yung sinasabi. Okay, so ito yung merong mga flame test talaga. Pero kasi sa USP, hindi pina-flame test yung copper. So what is the color formed from the reaction of ferric chloride and sodium thiosulfate? Ito yung dithiosulfato complex. This is yung purple complex. So kay ferric chloride, merong pula, which is yung thiocyanate. Saka thiosulfate naman, purple. So next, for 72 to 73, ulit ang practice ng pagsosolve. So wala ulit yung magnesium chloride na molecular weight. So wala natin tignan. So magnesium chloride, if you remember yung position niya, that's good. If you use the periodic table, it's also good. So MgCl2. So magnesium would be 12 plus 12, so 24. Chloride here would be 17. Pero 17 plus 17, 34. Pero dahil dalawa yung chloride, so 34 times 2. So magiging 68 plus 24. Tama, no? Yun yung magiging ano niya. Wait, meron ulit yung tanong. Sige, balikan ko yung 66 to 69. Ulit, no? So, magnesium 12 plus 12, 24 plus 68. So, 24 plus 68 is 92. 92. So, yun lang din. Alam na natin yung pinakamalapit na molecular weight. So, papalitan lang natin dito. So, 92, 48 divided by 92. The closest value, you will get 48 divided by 92 divided by 0.5 liters kasi 500 ml ito. So the closest answer would be letter B, 1. What is the normality? Normality will be the factor because magnesium has a charge of 2, so the factor would be times 2. So i-multiply mo lang by 2. So 1 times 2, so the answer would be letter D. Okay? So, ayan. So, 66 to 69, balikan natin. Ayan, 66 to 69, yung saltpeter is, yung normal na saltpeters, yung hindi galing sa Chile, potassium nitrate. Yung caustic soda, sodium hydroxide. Yung spirit of salt, hydrochloric acid. And then yung slake lime, calcium hydroxide. Okay? So, next is number 74. What is the second highest intracellular cation? So yung highest would be calcium followed by potassium followed by magnesium na yung second highest intracellular cation. Then yung calcium, mas marami siya no found intracellularly, so mahirap i-determine yung amount niya. Calcium would be determined extracellularly, so sa labas, pero mahirap i-determine yung intracellular amount niya. While yung sodium is the highest extracellular ion. Okay, number 75, this is your heart maths. Okay, so sterile solution used for the supplementation of potassium ions, ito yung lactated ringer. So yung heart maths is yung lactated ringer solution. And ringer solution will contain 3 ions, calcium, potassium, and sodium. Tapos, ito, dextrose and isotonic saline, sodium lang naman niya. Mannitol and isotonic saline, sodium lang din naman niya. Ito, sodium lang din yung naman niya. So, ito lang yung merong potassium. Kaya, letter B yung sagot. Number 76, anong common salt? Calcium gluconate. Sinabi natin, identify natin na common salt for supplementation. What is the most common linkage for iron found in the blood? So, heme, no? Naka-complex siya with heme. So, yung chlorine ay para sa cobalt. No? Ito naman yung para sa cobalt. What is the precipitate formed from the reaction of iron 2, sulfate, and potassium hexacyanoferrate? So, this is ferrocyanide. So, nauna yung O. So, yun nga, no? Yung pinakamadaming dew, yung pipiliin ninyo. So, ako yung clue ko. So, ferrocyanide is turnbull's blue. So, if it's Prussian blue, it's ferrocyanide. Okay, so itong mga German Franco blue, mga invento lang natin yan. Kasi nandiyan si Prussia eh. So, yeah. So, number 79, so yung copper metalloprotein na merong responsible for melanin production. So, that's your tyrosinase. So, cytochrome oxidase, itong lysinase, sa kaminala, bet lang natin na ano yan, na enzyme. Cytochrome oxidase actually contains copper, pero hindi siya responsible for melanin production. Okay? So next is number 80. So for number 80, again, we have a weak acid, given yung Ka, given yung formula. So you just need to do the square root of Ka times the concentration. Tapos the answer to that, get the negative log. If you did that, the answer would be 2.1. Okay? So ito, no, last time na yung mga binigay kong example, medyo obvious na. So dito, kailangan mo talaga i-compute. The answer you will get is 2.1. So number 81 naman, ito kinda obvious yung sagot natin. So ibig sabihin kahit hindi nyo kinompute, masasagot nyo dapat ito. Potassium acetate is basic. So since it's basic, A, B, and C are not possible answers kasi they're all acidic. Pero pag kinompute mo pa rin, paano natin gagawin? Yung Ka, gagawin natin Kb. So or hanapin natin yung Kb from the Ka. So yung Kw, 1 times 10 to the negative 14 divided by the Ka, and you will get the Kb. Yung Kb na yun, i-multiply natin yung 2.5. From there, you will get the square root, you will get the OH, and then the POH. Subtract it from 14 to get the pH. So 9.6 yung magiging sagot. Okay? Next, what is the pH of the acetate buffer? The components of the buffer is given below. Ito, purposely na hindi ko binigay, no? Hindi ko binigay yung Ka. Kasi, like I said, Ka is a constant. So, dapat ginamit niyo yung Ka na ito. Yan, no? Yung Ka is 1.8 times 10 to the negative 5 kasi acetic acid din yan. So, yun din naman yung nandun sa, nasa taas. So, parang, hope ko sana, no, na may isip niyo na you can use the data because it's a constant. Acetic acid will always have this dissociation constant. Okay? So pH will be pKa plus base over acid. So dito tingnan nyo muna. This is mas marami yung base kumpara sa acid. And if you remember this ating example, if you do the Ka for this is 4.75 yung pKa. So that means it would be slightly basic kasi mas kaunti lang yung lamang ng sodium acetate. So it will be 4.8. So ang good na dito, no, if the concentration of both the base and the acid of a buffer is equal, the pH will be equal to the pKa. Hindi mo na kailangan i-compute. Pag equal yung base at yung acid concentration, the pH will be equal to the pKa of the acid. Okay. So number 83, what is the color produced from this one? So we have chromium 3, hydrogen peroxide, and sodium hydroxide. So hopefully you recall na of these three, ito lang yung merong kulay, yung chromium chloride lang. So chromium lang may kulay. Yung chromium 3, kulay green. Pero yung chromium 6, yung dichromate, at chromate, yung kulay yellow. Okay? So 83, letter B. Okay. Next, 84. Main salt used for supplementation, sulfate. Chloride, hindi. Hydroxide, hindi. At sulfide, lalo nang hindi. Okay, ito yung for topical administration. Chloride ay topical din. For zinc hydroxide, ito yung for tawag dito, antacid. Pero yung sulfate, no, yung ginagamit for supplementation. What is the color of ammonium phosphomolydate? Yellow, canary yellow, or golden yellow? No, it's different depending on the references. What is the color from the reaction of ammonium sulfide and manganese 2 sulfate? Ito yung unique na pink sulfide. So other unique sulfide would be antimony sulfide na orange. We have yung zinc sulfide na white, no? And kinda yung white ng aluminum, pero kasi diba hindi yan aluminum hydroxide, pero pag nag-react ang aluminum at sulfide, it will form a white precipitate. Okay? Which can be administered for the management of rheumatoid arthritis. So again, gold yung ginagamit, no? Siya yung DMARDs. So auranofin, again, in the name, nandyan din naman. So auranofin yung oral, yung iba, yung gold sodium thiomalate, tsaka yung gold orothioglucose. So ito yung of course, IV or IM administration. Merthiolate would be yung mercury containing. Nandyan yung mer, no, tsaka yung thio kasi yun yung laman ng merthiolate. Thio group, sulfide, sulfhydryl, tsaka mercury. Yung stibofen, nandun sa pangalan, antimony, no, yung stibnium, di ba? Ang old Latin name ng antimony, kaya SB, yung kanyang chemical symbol. And then salvarsan is arsenic containing at ito ay microbial. And again, ARS would be for arsan. So from there, no, pwede mo na ma-identify sino yung gold salts from the name of the compound itself. Yun naman yung sinabi ko, no, the name will give you a hint kung sino siya. So for hydrogen peroxide topical, 30% yung concentrated. Pag tinignan natin, kailangan mong i-dilute 10 times. So that's yung 3%. So number 88 would be letter A. So mercuric salts, mercuric. So or yellow yung sagot natin dito. Pag mercurous, doon yung magiging black yung precipitate mo. Oxygen, dahil nagbibigay buhay, kulay green. So yung black, no, yung nitrogen na hindi nakakabuhay. And then we have brown for carbon dioxide. So 92 to 94. So dito, which of the following compounds first via parenteral? So elemental, pwedeng, yun nga yung very small, no, pwede siya for oral. Ferrous gluconate, oral. Iron 2 sulfate, oral din. Yung iron sorbitex, iron sucrose, no, ito yung for IV. So ito yung mga ferric ions na ginagamit for supplementation na parenteral. So Prussian blue, what's the reagent used to form Prussian blue with the answer in 91? Again, meron na kayong kind of clue. Pero dito, ang gusto kong ma-remember ninyo, ito nga ay Fe3. No? This is a ferric ion. So kung ferric ito, ang taga-buo niya ng Prussian blue would be a ferriferro, no? So ferriferro. So kailangan nyo malaman sino si ferrocyanide. So again, I try to remind you no paano pwedeng i-compute. Pero kung natandaan niyo, ito yung ferro. Kasi iron here would be 2, cyanide would be -6. So 2 tsaka -6, kaya 4 yung potassium. So ito yung ferricyanide. So A and D are all incorrect. So letter C would be the correct answer. So kasi ito yung ferrocyanide. For 93, kapag thiocyanate, ito yung sinabi nating deep red. So ito pa yung isang unique na complex ni iron. So acetate, deep red, pero nasusira ng acid. Thiocyanate, deep red also, pero hindi nasisira ng acids. And thiosulfate ay purple. Okay, so yun yung mga unique. So for 94, ito na yung ano natin, no? Kailangan natin tandaan what method of radiolabeling is used for TC human serum albumin. So hindi siya bifunctional chelates, no? Kasi kailangan dalawa, no? May DTPA na nakabind sa metal at nakabind sa antibody. So hindi to yun. Hindi siya biosynthesis kasi hindi naman pinapakain ng technetium yung tao at kinokolekta yung ano niya, no? Yung albumin niya. Hindi rin siya isotope exchange kasi hindi naman normal na mayroong technetium sa ating albumin. So ito ay introduction of a foreign label kasi naglalagay ka ng something na foreign or hindi naman usually found dun sa molecule na yan. So number 95, dahil again albumin, so blood flow. Blood flow. So dito naka-highlight sa ating ano. So A and D are impossible, no? So hindi sila for blood flow. Bakit hindi na siya pwede for letter C? Again, kung naalala niyo yung discussion natin for the nephron, yung nephron, di ba, hindi niya naa-allow yung pag-filter. Kasi nga masyadong malaki yung albumin, hindi siya lumulusot sa glomerulus. So hindi siya magandang way to visualize your blood flow in the kidneys. Kasi nga hindi siya feel, hindi siya lumulusot. So yung gusto mo doon is yung maliliit type, yung glucose-like or organic acid-like. So yung gluceptate, hiporate kasi maliliit sila at pwede silang makalusot sa glomerulus. So letter B, yung pwede. Okay? So number 96, if the reactant follows second order, if you increase the concentration 3 times, so you raise it, no? So 3 squared. So 3 squared will give you 3 times 3, 9 times. Okay? So 3 times when increase yung concentration, it will increase by the square of how much you increase it to. Okay? So number 97, if an element has high to proton to neutron ratio, so again, kung proton yung madami, so yung proton yung madami, gusto mong mabawasan yung proton at ma-convert siya into neutron. So itong invento lang natin 'yan. So kaya ang mas better, ito tatlo lang naman talaga yung pinagpipilian natin. So parang both of this, no, alpha decay yung hindi the desirable para sa pagmas maraming proton. Okay? Next, sa number 98, which of the following is unlikely to be a cathartic or a laxative? So kailangan nyo balikan, soluble ba siya sa tubig or hindi. So as you can see, itong Rochelle salt, so anyone, ano yung Rochelle salt? So if you recall, Rochelle salt is yung tartrate. Okay, so ayan, insoluble din siya, kaya laxative siya. Magnesium sulfate, hindi na siya soluble sa water. Sulfur, hindi siya ganun ka-soluble. While sodium nitrate, dun sa prediction of solubility, siya yung pinaka-soluble. Hence, hindi siya pwedeng gamitin na cathartic or laxative. So number 99, what is the color of the precipitate formed from bismuth and iodide? Brown, black, yung bismuth, iodide. So diniscuss natin yan. And then lastly, color nga ng reaction ng aluminum cation sa ammonium sulfide. So ito yung isa ulit na unique, aluminum hydroxide yung product, pero sulfide yung ginamit na reactant. Okay? So that is all. Kumusta naman yung mga sagot ninyo? Kumusta naman? Ala. Okay. So, ayan. Meron bang question, clarifications? No? Do you have any questions? Okay. So, check lang natin. 72 and 73, o kung nandun na yun, hindi ko pala nabasa. So, minsan naduduling din ako. 72 and 73. Hindi ko pala natanggal. Sabi ko na meron akong hindi natanggal. Oo, di bonus na yun. So, meron nakala kayong bonus 2 points. So, pero hopefully, no, na-gets nyo naman yung computation. Hopefully, na-gets nyo yung gusto nating itry na pwedeng gamitin ang periodic table at yung definition ng molarity at normality. Pero kung nandun na yun, yung 72 at 73, hindi ko pala natanggal. So, may 2 points na kayo. Tama na yan. Okay? So, if wala na kayong question, ayun na ba yan? Sige, ito pa. So, number 98. Sige, balikan natin number 98. So, ang question sa number 98 kasi is not, no? Unlikely. So, pinaka-unlikely. Kasi yung magnesium sulfate, pwede siya. So ito nga yung, di ba yung Epsom salt, yung magnesium sulfate, yung Epsom salt. So, di ba ginagamit talaga siya for cathartic. So, ang unlikely kasi yung tanong. So, kaya ang gusto kong maalala ninyo, yung mga ginagamit na laxative, sila yung hindi nag-dissolve. They would have the lower solubility. To discuss natin, salts, nitrate salts ng group 1 ay soluble. So, kaya hindi talaga sila pwedeng gamitin laxative. Okay? So, any other concern? Okay, sige. Kung okay naman na. Kung wala na, thank you. And siguro end ko na din yung meeting. Tapos, ayun, you have my email address. If you have any other questions, okay lang, no? Pwede kayo mag-consult. I'll be ready to give assistance any way I can. And so, yun lang. Thank you ulit, no? And hope to maging ka-RPH na tayo. So, thank you everyone. Close ko na yung meeting.